So everybody, you might have seen in the news that Samsung has released their Fold 6 as well as their Flip 6, meaning that they are on their 6th generation of foldable devices. Meanwhile, Apple has kind of stayed on the sidelines, and in typical Apple fashion, they usually wait to see exactly what a new product category is doing before jumping into it. A great example will be the Vision Pro. But it looks like we are finally getting inklings that Apple is going to be focusing on this foldable market now that they have an idea of what people want, what the market is doing in regards to foldables, and we got some information that really gives us an idea of what Apple's going to be doing on the foldable markets. Now before we do get started, definitely consider subscribing to the channel as well as becoming a channel member. We just released our August wallpaper pack, which brings 6 awesome wallpapers for your iPhone, iPad, and Mac computer, so definitely consider becoming a channel member in the first link down below. But now let's talk about all these awesome foldables. So as I was saying, Apple has stayed kind of on the sidelines when it comes to this foldable market because they weren't sure of what people were going to react or how they were going to react when foldables did come out. In theory, it was an awesome idea, but in practicality, in function, and again, with the material science that we had, it still wasn't really ready yet, and it looks like Samsung has gotten to the point, as well as some other manufacturers, that it could be ready for Apple to really take a step into it. And the first real inkling that we got is that in late July, word arrived that Apple has signed a panel supply contract for its first foldable iPhone. So that is the first real inkling that we're getting that Apple's going to be working on an iPhone sooner rather than later. But it's not just the iPhone from a product category standpoint. Apple is also working on this kind of like iPad MacBook hybrid in the foldable space as well, and that remains yet to be seen exactly how that's going to come to fruition. But this is all happening much sooner than expected in terms of we do believe we'll be getting mass production and be able to purchase these in 2026, which even though it sounds kind of far away, that's less than 2 years away, everybody. So let's first quickly talk about the iPhone version of a foldable device, and Apple's going to be going with the flip form factor. So it's going to be in this clamshell design, and instead of getting your iPhone to become a bigger kind of tablet-sized computer, it's actually going the opposite way. So it's going to fold down to become more pocketable and be able to carry around even easier. So think exactly like the Flip 6 that just released. Apple's seeing that that's getting much more traction in terms of market share and what people are reacting to and what is selling much better, right? It's much easier to convince somebody to spend $1,000 on a flippable iPhone as opposed to maybe $2,000 on a iPhone that opens up, that turns into kind of like an iPad but doesn't really know what it is. And even though the Fold 6 from Samsung's side is something that does look amazing, the hardware looks great, and from a practicality standpoint, it kind of makes sense in theory, but when it comes to actually using it, I feel like the Fold is kind of confused as to what exactly it needs to be or what it wants to be. Because again, when you fold it down shut, it's still too much of a candy bar design to really think that it's a full-fledged smartphone on the front of it, because it's still a little too crammed, it's too tall, the aspect ratio is a little bit weird. But then when you open it up, you do get this beautiful canvas, this kind of square tablet design. But again, it's still running kind of a mobile OS, it's still not really running anything spectacular, it still is confused as to what exactly it wants to be because of the aspect ratio, the form factor, the selfie camera being blocked by pixels. So Apple's seeing this and they're noticing that maybe the flip form factor is going to be the way to go, and we're going to keep the iPhone an iPhone and keep it in that form factor so people don't get confused as to what exactly they're trying to make the iPhone be. I, for one, think this is a great idea because I also believe that I want the iPhone to just stay an iPhone. I don't need an iPhone to be an iPad. I don't need my iPhone to turn into a laptop computer, although it would be nice to have some sort of Samsung DeX-like experience on the iOS side. But again, baby steps when it comes to Apple adopting these new features. But again, a flippable iPhone I think would sell like hotcakes because it would be a smaller form factor, easier to carry. You can kind of go into the fashion world when it comes to really marketing this new device in terms of being a fashion statement and things like that. So Apple getting into the flippable iPhone market is going to be a big one. But then there is a new product category that Apple's working on, which is this iPadOS, macOS, laptop, iPad hybrid that's going to be a full 20.3 inches when unfolded. Now again, this should be coming out in 2026, but I do see Apple creating this hybrid type of device from a product category standpoint because if you've noticed, ever since Apple released their M series chip on their M1 MacBook Air and then put it into their iPad, the operating systems have been kind of coming closer and closer together, especially visually. If you look at the app icons on your macOS computer, they're now very iPadOS-like, and then vice versa. There's a lot more synergy when it comes to the different features on iPadOS and macOS. For instance, Stage Manager exists on macOS. People just don't really talk about it because it seems kind of redundant to have floating windows in the traditional macOS form factor, but then also have more of this playful like Stage Manager form factor on your macOS computer. But both of these can run Stage Manager from a floating window and multitasking standpoint. And then also on macOS side, you can run iPad apps directly from the App Store because of the M series chip and the compatibility that comes with that. So The operating systems, in my opinion, are kind of slowly merging together, which is going to bring light to a brand new foldable hybrid device that can be both an iPad as well as a full-fledged laptop, even though the iPad is already a full computer. So again, with this new hybrid device, picture a foldable device that opens up to a 20.3-inch screen. There have been mixed reports about an 18.8 or a 20.3-inch screen when fully unfolded. And then of course you're going to have all the different accessories that come in the Apple ecosystem, like a Magic Keyboard type, Magic Mouse, Magic Trackpad. Everything's going to work compatible with it. And then obviously you can maybe fold it upright to have a virtual keyboard at all times, or you can fold it all the way shut to have an iPad type of experience on the front panel, or maybe reverse fold it all the way out so you do have another iPad type of experience, while then showing off exactly what's going on the rear of the device. So this form factor is going to breathe light to a bunch of different use cases, a bunch of functionalities, and at the end of the day, it's going to merge everything together. So in 2026, I do think we'll have a situation where we'll have a flippable iPhone as well as this Mac hybrid device like tablet that's going to be foldable as well. Now, Apple will never get rid of the candy bar iPhone design, at least not anytime soon, and I bet you they're going to take kind of the same design cues, or at least pricing structure when it comes to this flippable iPhone. I think the flippable iPhone is going to fit in between the iPhone regular series and then the iPhone Pro series, where the iPhone Pro will maybe be like $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. The iPhone Flip will be like $1,000 or $1,100, and then you'll still be able to get, let's say, the iPhone 17 for $700 or $800. So it's going to be a new product category that fits right in between for those people that want kind of the latest and greatest from a hardware perspective, but don't really care to have the latest and greatest like camera or things of that nature, where the Pro models will still be that. It'll be more of a tool versus a fashion statement on the flip side. But I just wanted to bring that to light because I'm personally excited to see what Apple does. I want to see what they get into from a new hardware perspective, because aside from the Vision Pro, which was in its own right an amazing device, still very cost prohibitive, but again, the Vision Pro is a very wow device. And I do think Apple can be in a situation where they make a wow device again from a hardware perspective, right? The iPhone Flip will be a little bit more accessible kind of with normal rate plans. You can go to T-Mobile or AT&T and then kind of go zero down and be able to pick up this iPhone Flip. But I do think that macOS tablet hybrid device is going to be very expensive. I think it's going to be a $2,500 starting price type of computer with accessories that'll start to add up to maybe $3,500 or $4,000, because at the end of the day, you will be replacing ideally a MacBook and an iPad in one device. So Apple's going to be charging you like you're getting, 1.5 devices in one. That's just what I think Apple's going to do from a pricing perspective. So that's going to be a very high cost type of experience, very similar to the Vision Pro, where it's a very niche product, making it very expensive. But for the people that do want to jump in there, it's going to be a wow moment. But let me know in the comment down below what you think. Are you excited for the flippable, foldable future that Apple will eventually get to? Now, it remains yet to be seen if that's going to be their main category of devices, or if they're going to drop everything and just go full foldable and go full screens with everything, or if they're going to just add it to the product category lineup to begin with. But that'll do it, everybody. Let me know in the comment down below, like I mentioned earlier, what you think. Is it something that you'd want to get into? Do you want a flippable iPhone, flippable iPad? Do you want one form factor to go across all your different product lineups? Let me know. I'm always curious to discuss down in the comments below. But that'll do it, everybody. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below. And if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video up here, and I personally think you're going to like this video down here. That'll do it, everybody. I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here. Peace.